Radio Free America, and this is Uncle Sam with music and the truth until dawn. Right now, I got a few words for some of our brothers and sisters in the occupied zone. The chair is against the wall. The chair is against the wall. John has a long mustache. John has a long mustache. It's 12 o'clock, Americans, another day closer to victory. And for all of you out there on or behind the lines, this is your song.
The guys and gals of gunwebsites.com.
And welcome everybody to our Daily Gun Show. What am I saying? It's not the Daily Gun Show. It's a hammock. So I was just trying to upload a video over here and it won't process. So we're just going to watch it live. So that's another way to do it. So there's the screen, and let me know if you can hear me okay. I'll wait to make sure I hit play before everybody gives me a heads up that they can hear it okay out there. And then start the video. So this will be self-explained in the video, I guess. I won't bother to explain it again. Just watch it over here. Happened to that video. Okay, thanks. So here we go. We're going to take a look at the number of people who attended the 2A rally that took place on November 2nd, 2019 in Washington, D.C. First, we'd like to thank our patrons, the people who make it possible for us to attend places like this and make videos like this. Additionally, I'd like to thank the people who purchased the rally fundraising merchandise at our gear website. So here we are at the rally, November 2nd, 2019, and here Jeff Knox in the background, one of the people who was tasked with helping to organize the rally. And during the rally, as I was walking through the crowd, I think about 6 miles this day through the crowd and around and away from the rally and back to it, there was a guy with one of the flags, not an American flag, but probably a Gadsden flag or something, or a come and take it. And I asked him, he had it on a big PVC pole. I asked him if it was okay if I could stick my camera on there and have a piece of 550, kind of shock cord, elastic 550 on my phone. And it allowed me to just attach it to his PVC pole real quickly. And I just went up in the air here, and you can see this is at a slow speed. I just twirled the camera around and I attempted to aim it down towards the crowd. And although it's not highly produced or anything, and it's just a cell phone footage, I was able to then take that footage and pull some still images. So that's what we're going to do here. We're going to go through even slower, and we're going to pull some of these images from the crowd. I'll then go to some software and count the various heads. You can see all the different heads on the shapes there. And we'll see how many people were in this footage as I twirled around this PVC pipe or PVC pole at the 2A rally. And I ended up with 9 images going around in this non-scientific circle. And from those images, I cropped down using some, actually Gadsden flags turned out to be my landmarks in the audience. Cropped down so that I could identify the groups of people based either on their shirts or their hats or their Gadsden flags and some of the things in the background like that statue and the trees and stuff. And what we end up with is a way to have a panoramic snapshot of the crowd. I think this was, if I remember right, about half a way through. So it started around noon and lasted till 3 or 4. So let's say this was about halfway through, and the crowd was probably swelled a little bit after this, but not much, 10% at most. And we'll then take it into the Adobe Illustrator software, and I take, oh snap, I could invite New York Outcast too. Shit, I just sent out a link there. So let me, I guess I go to this and then forward it to you. No, forward it. I tried to send it to everybody. I remember it being there. Do I have your email?
I'll give you a link over on Gun Channels. But yeah, New York Outcast was. I'm pretty sure you were in this picture, I think.
So their hats, or their Gadsden flags, and some of the things in the background, like that statue and the trees and stuff. And what we end up with is a way to have a panoramic snapshot of the crowd. I think this was, if I remember right, about half a way through. So it started around noon and lasted until 3 or 4. So let's say this was about halfway through, and the crowd was probably swelled a little bit after this, but not much, 10% at most. And we'll then take it into the Adobe Illustrator software, and I take those images that we just pulled from the video. And as I say, I use some Gadsden flags as landmarks. We'll go through and edit those down. And once I've edited them so that I'm not wasting a bunch of space here, you get basically a panorama of the event. Then I go through and just start to identify each of the heads and take a tally. And actually started narrating this before I tallied everything up. So I'm going to pause here for a moment and we'll get the results. All right, so I did go through and finish up the rest of the video here so I can finish up the rest of the narration. So as you see, this was non-scientific. I just spun the camera around and started to identify each of the individuals. Now it's possible that a couple of people walked the opposite way that I was moving the camera. There's definitely people standing behind some of these flags. And I don't know, I guess it's possible to estimate the number of people I missed behind the flags, or when you get to the low resolution with a big group of people looking towards the stage there. Well, let's mention, I'll mention here in a second, there's the Gun Channels crew. So this first.
All right, so this is still working. Before I start doing the actual countdown, the numbers, what do you think what do you think the answer is going to be? So like I don't know, the audio isn't that good. I'm still learning this software and getting new legs on the new computer here, but I'm missing somebody. Like I've got a decent picture of everybody there, and I'm pretty sure I'm counting everybody and doing it in a way that I'm not double counting or skipping anyone. But I'm sure I'm skipping people on going back here, skipping people on some of these shots where there's just a bunch of people all together. There's people behind these flags and stuff that I can't see. There's people right underneath the pole, like standing all around me. It was pretty crazy, pretty crowded where I'm standing. So I'm missing probably a group of people around the pole. And then some people came and left. So, this was just one snapshot in time, really. And I know we've seen all kinds of numbers out there. I just now, while the thing was running, since I was planning on just doing this as a premiere and letting it drop, and then it wouldn't let me, it wouldn't accept the video. So it wouldn't, process the video. So I just went live. And since I figured since I'm going live, I might as well send out links. So I just sent out links to a bunch of people, really, probably about 30, 40 people. Out of nowhere. So we'll see if any of them actually show up and jump in here or not. But I figured this is a good spot in the video. It's about halfway through, like a 7-minute video. Should have made it 10 minutes. I'm an idiot. Anyway, it's 7 minutes into this video. It'll be 10 with this stream. But I don't know. We're seeing if nobody's jumping in yet. We'll see if anybody jumps in. Your numbers are you're all going to be surprised. Let's put it that way. So we'll keep going. So as you can see what I'm doing, I took a couple of pictures from the video. I took a video spinning around. I took pictures from the video. This line is all the people I counted in the other picture. So I'm just counting the picture over here, people over here. The next picture, I'll figure out who I already counted because I had all those pictures next to each other. So I could figure out who I was counting and not, skipping anybody and not double counting anybody. So that's what I'm doing here. I guess it's possible to estimate the number of people I missed behind the flags, or when you get to the low resolution with a big group of people looking towards the stage there. Well, let's mention, Okay, so there's John out there. I don't know if you heard what I was just saying there, but during the rally, about midway through the rally, I went to one of the guys that had a big Gadsden flag or something and on a big PVC pole, and I stuck my phone at the top of that. He let me stick my phone at the top of that pole, and then I spun it around in a circle. And as I spun that thing around in a circle, I pulled off some pictures from it. So I pulled those pictures off and put them next to each other. And then I chopped them down so that I wasn't counting a bunch of people twice. And then I went through and just counted every single person in those pictures. So in that snapshot in time, in that moment, about halfway through the rally, this is when Jeff Knox was speaking. This little clip was actually during Jeff Knox's talk, and I think he was about midway. So here's roll call. So as you can see, I go through, I find it, I count everybody, and then I put a count on each. Over here, I'm counting each color so that I wouldn't get lost or whatever. I put a count on each picture, and now I'm about to go through and count all the pictures up. And roll call just jumped in. Thanks for joining. And I just figured I'd see what John thinks out there. He was there. He was probably in this moment in time at the rally. He would have probably been standing, up here next to the podium someplace or around the back here. A lot of conversations were happening, out of earshot of the microphones, and like out of the way of pictures and stuff, but still like behind the podium, either people getting ready or just having done talking. So anyway, I was just asking what people think, how many people showed up, how many people are in this video as I'm counting here. So roll call, you weren't there, but you were watching a lot of this stuff. You've seen some of the pictures and stuff. How many people you think were there?
Can you hear me? Am I good? Am I good?
Yeah, you're good. I think I can hear you.
All right, because it's telling me that I can't use my audio or video. It said it was experimental. I don't know.
Oh, because you're on your phone, that's all. So when you're on your phone with the duck, on your browser on your phone, tell it to show it to you as a desktop, and it won't give you that message about it being experimental, but whatever, it's working fine here. So
I'm gonna estimate. I'm gonna go with 2,400, even number.
all right, and then you're definitely going to be surprised. And then John is saying, I was kind of right around here waiting for John to give me an answer too, because like I said, he's there. He says he sucks at estimating crowds, but between 1,000 and 2,000. So I'm gonna let the video keep going here, not spoil nothing.
Towards the stage there. Well, let's mention, I'll mention here in a second, there's the Channels crew. So this first picture is kind of standing in the center of the crowd looking north. That's where it happened to start, and just use some of the Gadsden flag.
I'll just stop here for a second. Sarge and Obnoxious were probably standing right around here.
Flags. So that first picture had approximately 140 people. The second picture, 240, and you can see the stage there and trying to count the people behind the stage. If you slowed down or paused as I was counting, you could see I was using editing software. So I could go in and see each of the blobs that you could tell was a person. So I think these are pretty accurate estimates. And again, while there's people missing behind the flags, and there's probably people I missed in some of the blobs, and so there could be people sitting down. It couldn't be more than a percentage. Now here I circled with the big G, the Gun Channels crew, or a bunch of the Gun Channels crew at least, that was standing in an area there during the time I was spinning the camera around. A couple of the other guys, Sarge and Obnoxious, were up front getting better footage of the speakers and doing live streaming of the speakers. So as I spun around, you can see there was less people in the back here, a little easier to count them. But all together, we'll have the tally here. And I think that it's a pretty decent representation. Again, the crowds did swell a little bit beyond this, but not much. And it was not consistent the whole time, so it did start to dwindle, and it took a little while to get to this point. And in the future, this gives us something to start from. I'm not sure if anyone else has done an estimate to try to count the crowd. The number I came up with from this test was 885, so 100,000 people, and I'm sure there was 1,000 people there that day.
Oh, this is interesting. This is supposed to be happening on top of a video of like the crowd scene. So this is a glitch. Maybe that's why it's still processing.
People I missed, plus people that came and went. But that's what we came up with. Let us know what you think in the comments. I encourage people to have conversations about this. Does this justify your opinion of the rally? Does this bolster your confidence in our abilities as the community to rally and inspire each other? We only rally on fear. Is this a success? Was this a failure? This is my effort to bring some focus on the rally again and to give some more insight as to what really happened there. I've got some other footage, and now that I've got new resources here with the computer and the software, I'll be posting more videos. Given my perspective on our Second Amendment going into 2020, I think it's important for us each to value our voices. I'm honored to be able to attend the rally. It's part of our tour of checking out our Second Amendment across the country and keeping our Second Amendment media community live and well. I thank our patrons for allowing us to do it. People that purchase stuff at our CARE website store. It's the two ways that we are able to do what we do. Thanks for watching.
The guys and gals of gunwebsites.com encourage you to take a CCW class.
Yeah, that one piece was kind of glitched. I wonder if that's what's stopping it from processing over there. Anyway, so that's my process. I got this piece of clip of video, and it's only, this is the raw video right here. So it's not a big piece of video.
Just rally
Oh, wait, no, it's not.
fundraising merchandise at our gear website store.
This is the clip
Here we
here.
are at the rally, November 2nd, 2019, and you can hear Jeff Knox in the background, the people who was tasked with helping to organize the rally. And during the rally, as I was walking through the crowd,
So that's the 360. So, you know, it's not like I took an hour and a half to do the 360 and the crowd was shifting around behind me. I mean, it's possible that if someone was walking, you know, counterclockwise or something to me, that I missed them. And I definitely, you know, at some point I quit counting people over here in the edges, and I'm sure I missed people like in this mess. But how many people could I possibly have missed? You know, so I think Midnight said it out there. No matter what we get here, Yankee's going to be pissed, and I don't think he'll deny it, but I don't think he'll appreciate that 800 people was something to write home about. And I don't know if the number is the big deal necessarily compared to, this is only one of my videos. I'm using this as my first because I needed to know how many people were there. So this project was an effort to actually count, but I've got some better video from further away. And I think if I could show that right now, I would use that. I think a better than numbers is just the field was full. I mean, if we would have all been there and done like Jeff wanted us to do and crowded in, I think it would have been worse. But we could have probably had 700 people there and strategically crowded around differently and filled up that field. So I really don't think the number's critical. I think it's a perception thing, how full we make the, I guess they call it the lawn. You know, if we can fill the lawn, we've accomplished something. You know, if we could fill the lawn all the way out to the Washington Monument, we would shut the world up and they'd leave us alone. But so I don't know. I don't know if, again, the number really helps anything. It's just going to probably poke some people, and it's going to give some people another weapon to bitch about it. But I'd still say it's overall a success or whatever. But I think the number is less important than how full it's perceived. And I think that's still an objective one, right? Like a perceptual thing, like if you think this was a lot of people or not.
Well, if you look at it, man, the last few rallies that I went to, and you know, compared to the Washington D.C. rally, were 10 times smaller. Not even that. In my home, well, not my hometown, but over there where Mac is in Valpo, when we went to that rally, I would I could almost count people on hands and toes. So if you look at this and you look at some of the other rallies around the country, this was pretty big. Maybe not as big as some people, but if you look at my rally that we had here in Indiana, oh man, 100 people. The one in Ohio that I went to, 200 people, 215 people. I mean, that's a lot of people.
Well, we had one in Arizona with 300 people, and that was a lot of people. I mean, I
Right?
guess this is 800. 300 would have been a little more, a little less than half of this people, and that was a lot to cram onto our little, I guess they just call them lawns or whatever. But yeah, I also thought it was closer to 2,000, so double this, and that's just based off of standing there and just kind of looking. And what I do is I count like 10 people, and I kind of try to guesstimate how big 10 people are taken up, and then if I look and see how many is 100, and then I go around and try to figure out how big an area is being taken up by 100, I'm guessing, and then extrapolating. And obviously I'm not good at it. I'm off by 100%. I don't know if that's good or bad as far as, because I don't guess very often, but most of the guesses in the chat here have been, quite a bit larger. John thought 1,000 to 12. Jason was the closest with 900. York thought maybe 1,200 to 1,500. But some of the other guesses, just over 1,000 all the way up to 3,000 or more. So I don't know. And that's just a thing. If you a skill, I guess, to just be able to be better at figuring out how many people there are. But I think there's more to it. It's the number of people. Obviously, if that was all people who represent, I don't know, organizations or groups or areas of interest and stuff, then of course, if they're key people, that's more important. If they're if it was 60% people who just live nearby, right? Just happen to live in the area and we're curious about this, that would be different. I think if you put it into set and setting, keeping in mind, and again, this isn't my only video from the event. I'll be posting more now that I can't say I've mastered the software because I couldn't get this thing to process, but I got this far with it, playing with it, and it mainly accomplished doing this count. That's the reason I stuck the camera up or my phone up on the hole in the first place and spun it around like that, is so that I could do a count. And this, took all day basically to do the count. So now that we know that, I can start adding it in with my other stuff, but you got to put this in setting. There was going to be, well, see, I'm going to try to do something similar with the footage I have of the baseball stuff, and keeping in mind, I couldn't see all the baseball stuff. I had no interest in seeing the baseball stuff. So the baseball stuff I saw was just because it was there. So this is looking west. The Capitol was east. So as I spin around, this is south, and then boom, looking looking west. So this is a statue, and at the time I took this, you can see there's barely people walking. These are little people walking from behind us because there was no parking anywhere. They had shut off downtown completely for parking. So there's people walking from either Metro or some distant parking lot, walking to be the first people to get in line at the sports parade, because there was this massive sports parade. Some sports team did something. So all these people were going to be walking to the sports thing later, and I've got some pictures, and I'm going to do something similar to this, try to count the number of sports people. But we were being told 50,000 sports people were showing up, and that's one of the reasons I was counting this as 2,000, based on what they were saying was 50, and I could only see, I guess I was going to show from this angle. By the time it was busy and like real full, the sports teams, you could barely see the sports stuff happening, like out of eyesight. Like if you stood up on this hill, you could barely see. So it didn't come all the way out to here or nothing. So we only saw the edge of it, and it was full and everything. But I have no idea how big it went, but the number of sports people was there dwarfed us, but it wasn't. It was, I think, I don't know. I'm trying to get a hold of how many people are in a crowd. So I think I'm going to try counting some of the sports stuff that I've seen, and then we can use that to put it in perspective. Again, these are people that, I guess now, what am I saying, 855? Obviously, again, there's people underneath where I'm pointing. There's people that walked up later. So I'm just going to start saying 1,000 people in that crowd just to make it a nice round number. And I don't think it's that unrealistic to say 1,000 people from this actual 885 right here. And even with that 1,000, those aren't 1,000 people that just had nothing better to do and they live in this very big apartment building right here. These are people that went through 50,000 or so sports freaks, like sports people that aren't just sports people like, hey, I have an opinion about sports. These are sports people that are like, I care so much about sports that I came here on the like most crowded day of the year to bitch about sports or whatever, to watch sports people go by in a bus. So these are people that brave traffic and shut down areas of town and knowledge. I need locals would have knowledge of that whole baseball stuff. So the people that showed up, I don't think are locals. I don't think these are just a bunch of people that had nothing else better to do that day and just walked down because it was because of the free beer. I think the 850 something people that showed up, 800,000 people that showed up are people like me. Maybe not all the way from across the continent, but people that made some effort to get there and to see what was going on and be part of it. So I think those 800 people do represent more than just a person of casual interest. I think they represent people who went home and talked to others who understand the significance, the need, and are also going to follow the consequences of this whole thing. And are looking forward to the next, exercise, the next thing we can do. But again, this is using the tech I've got, a way to gauge and a way to measure and a way to archive and start conversation. So I'll probably do another one that isn't the day before Christmas, and one that gives people more than a couple of moments notice on a off day to just do it. But it's like I say, it was kind of clogged in the pipe here, and I really didn't feel like putting this video up tomorrow. And so I crammed it up live tonight, and Roll Call joined me.
Yeah, and if you count obnoxious twice, that'd be another person.
If I what?
If you counted obnoxious twice. And then Sarge, if he ate an apple fritter that day, he'd be as big as two people.
Well, if you're counting how lean or fat these people were, I don't know. It's actually not as bad as the perceptions would be. I mean, you can actually look at it. I'd say there's actually pretty much unequal, because there's quite a bit of skinny people that are gun people. Little guy, skinny people.
Those are the people that crotch carry.
Yeah, all the appendixes, those people don't have pot bellies. I mean, there's certainly fat people, but it's not all fat people. And while it's certainly a bunch of, I keep saying certainly, well, there's definitely a bunch of fat old white guys. It ain't all fat old white guys.
Did you count the baby that was in the stroller?
I counted babies. Okay.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe not a baby. I counted little kids that were standing there that were only like waist high, because I figure that's how you become, right? When you experience stuff like that, when you're waist high, that's how you understand in your bones that this is a country made up of the right to assemble and the soapbox and all that. Like, I figure those people are still people, even though they're just too little to do nothing about it right this second.
Right.
And then that same as the old people. They're about to check out, but who knows what they're going to do as they're doing their last thing.
Yeah.
Plus, you don't know who in the audience is on their last day either. So we're all on checking out.
All right. Oh, that's right.
So Outcast saying you talked to the guy from AZ. People out there from, I don't know if it was every state. It would have been neat. I mean, it was a one-time thing, but again, it's an opportunity for us all to learn. The next time something gets organized, there's all kinds of stuff. We can chat about these in other chats and stuff. I only have 18 people in here, so I don't technically legally have to keep going. But yeah, we could have chats about what could be done. Having some sort of a board, maybe just a big board somewhere on a piece of plywood that people could go up and write their name on or something, like with the states, so that we could see, people could write the name of their org or put a sticker up there or something, somehow signify what states they came from, so that there'd be some archive, something, and then everybody who wanted to could go take pictures of that. That thing could have relevant information like hashtags and stuff, You know, there was things that didn't need to identify it with an organization, but could have still facilitated the efficiency of this whole thing, you know. And I still say having the baseball thing hit us, that's still our bad. That's still a bunch of that's a thing that can happen in a city. Think of all the other stuff that didn't happen, luckily, that we didn't plan for either. So getting kicked by the baseball game, yeah, it's a black eye, but I don't care. I'll take black eyes. If you're worried about getting embarrassed or worried about not being perfect, then you just haven't done shit yet. But once you've got into a couple of brawls or whatever, you know, you've got to get your ass kicked once in a while to learn. So I'm not going to say we got our ass kicked because we got there. We were in the fight. But yeah, having that baseball thing, I don't think that, I mean, it did affect the rally. And I'm sure there more people might have showed up with the baseball thing not there. But I'm glad it happened to the extent that any other rally from now will be aware of the possibility of something coming along like that. And well, hopefully, no, we'll never have that sucker punch again, right? We'll always be wary of that for at least a while.
Yeah, and this is a great example for people that are going to do what the rally in Virginia on, what is that, the 20th? I don't want to say it.
I like to think that it's the same day as SHOT Show.
Yeah, so I mean, if you're going to go to that, maybe if you can get a flag or something, have people sign the flag, you can count names that way as it goes for people, and see how many people turn out at that one. I mean, this isn't that rally, that baseball rally wasn't like when I went to the Cubs rally. I mean, there was 4 to 5 million people there. You know, that's like a once in a lifetime thing. You know, we could easily get, you know, 5,000-6,000 people. It takes the mentality that, you know, you're either in this to win it, or, you know, you need to go on the sideline and chill out. You know, you need to go sit the bench and let the real shakers and movers do this stuff. It's not easy putting together this stuff. I commend these people that put this stuff together, and, you know, be a part of something. This is something to be a part of. This is something that's important. This affects every man, woman, and child. And why not be a part of that?
I had to go over to YouTube to say thanks because it won't let me use the ad thing over here. But yeah, thanks Mandatory Carry for the thing over there. The what do you call that thing? A super chat or whatever. $5. Yeah, I'm not gonna say you gotta, what's the word, piss or get off the bench or whatever the word is, but because I don't think it has to be an either or, dude. We continue to, everybody has to know their role and what they can do, and maybe what their strengths are, and then even at the time, right? Like, it's not like somebody's doomed to only do this, or somebody somehow gets a pass and always gets to do that. If somebody wants to step up and attend these things, awesome. If they can't and they can help, then awesome. If they don't like it and they have a real problem with it, and honestly, speak up, because if we're doing something wrong and you're the guy who's watching us fail just so you can smirk about it, or I don't know, like have the satisfaction of knowing ahead of time that everybody was going to fail, then go fuck yourself. But if you're aware everybody's about to fail, speak up, let somebody know, or let somebody know who is willing to speak up if you don't got the balls or the vocal cords, because we need people. We don't need a bunch of yes men, and to have a bunch of people, you know, who aren't paying attention, just yes it, and have things fail that take a lot of resources. But I don't think this was a failure. I guess I don't know what you're kind of talking about, if it happens again or the next ones or whatever, but I don't know. And I don't want to start a bunch of shit. It's the day before Christmas. I just was playing with the video, kind of going through stuff, and this was one of the projects that I needed to do so I could do the next one, I didn't want to start doing my 2A rally videos and not know how many people were at that rally. This was one of the first ones I wanted to do so that we can go with that knowledge forward and talk about the rally, because it's, again, one thing to plan for something before it happened, and we all did that. we all anticipated what it could do. You know, that happened. A bunch of us efforted, motivated, whatever, saved, scrimped, efforted to get there and got there, and then experienced it and then shared it. And a bunch of people shared that with us, experienced it from all different angles. And, you know, being there is one thing. That doesn't make you special or give you some insight. You could have, I know a bunch of people that stood there. I walked 6.5 miles. So I've seen people who just stood there the whole time that were planted in one spot, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. And I've seen people like myself that were walking around the whole time. I don't think that's better or worse or anything. It's just another different way to do it. But from that insight, that doesn't make you any more aware of what's going on there. For example, Sarge and Obnoxious, I keep talking about, they were standing right up at the front, streaming the whole thing of each of the speakers, which I think was vital because they were streaming it to YouTube and some of the others weren't. Some of the people that were ever doing it for real weren't even streaming it as well as these guys. Now, they didn't get to see the same kind of experience I did. Now, if somebody was standing in the back the whole time, they didn't see the experience as either of us did. So if we're each carrying cameras around, somebody at home is sort of like the, what do you call that, a producer or the director? Like, you got the view of all of it at the same time, simultaneously. So you're experiencing it remotely, potentially in a way that we can't. You're completely involved in it. You're hearing the speeches. You're seeing me walk around and film. You're seeing somebody stand from afar and film the whole thing as it happens. And then each of these things that are happening, you get to see different versions of the people walking by. So yeah, there was no experiencing this, you know, or not experiencing this. There's just versions of it. And again, we all can come to these conversations afterwards and prepare for the next one, do after actions on this one, you know, talk about how Virginia is an opportunity, Connecticut, New Jersey, Washington State, California. I guess I could keep going. Kingpin Santa said, this is how we messed up. We need more of, this is what we can do better. Yeah. And practice, right? You go to the range, you shoot, you don't really go, oh man, I missed all I did. You know, think about you're missing all day long. You think about what you got to do next time and prep for it. If it's something as simple as, you know, breathing differently, you prepare a little bit. You think about breathing strategies, maybe even practice a couple of times. And then you go shoot again so that you can actually practice the breathing where it matters as you're pulling the trigger with all the stuff going on. If it's not breathing, if it's, you know, some thing we have to do on the equipment, you know, if it's getting our cameras better, if it's figuring out how to run these rallies better, we tweak all that and then we do it again. But yeah, it's the pace, I guess. Hopefully we'll see more of these happening with 2020. Unfortunately, as we see challenges to our freedom, we're going to see the need to have these rallies. We're going to see these things happen spontaneously like they're happening in Virginia due to resisting tyranny. But I think we also need to challenge ourselves to have these things in addition to all that, right?
Oh, for sure.
Right there. We need to start more offensive 2A instead of just being on the defensive. Pretty much the same thing. You were going to say something, roll call?
Yeah, this is like planting a seed, man, watching the plant grow. You know what I'm saying? And as it grows, you know, you trim it a little bit, you feed it a little bit of water, a little bit of plant food, and you grow it, man. And then when you finally get to that point where you do get, you know, tens of thousands of people to join in, I think then you're really accomplishing something. But you want to keep on, you know, replanting that seed so you can grow this opportunity time after time. We all know these people don't stop. The other side doesn't stop, so we shouldn't stop. So look at it as planting a seed, watching it grow, watch it materialize. If you have ideas, I mean, I'm sure these guys, they made a web page for it. Go find that page and put your idea into it. I don't think any idea is stupid. It may not work, but it's not stupid. Every bit of information is critical at this point. I mean, look at some places around the country. They're not as lucky as others. So let's plant the seed and let's grow from it. Let's trim this plant up and watch it sprout into something special.
All right, I was just checking my emails and checking through the comments there, and yeah. So with that, I guess we'll wrap it up. This was just a quick vid to bypass or to patch the issue with whatever they call it, processing. I uploaded the videos. Like I said, there must have been some kind of glitch or something because they just sat there processing. That would mean I have two videos with a glitch in them. I'll have to watch the other video. But whatever, that's kind of behind the scenes stuff. Thanks for watching. Tonight is Monday, so you got Clover doing something on the phones, plays with the Instagram on the phones. You used to get the, what do they call it? The, I can't remember the name. The triggered warning 2A, but Antonia's not on it anymore. And I don't know if Nina's still doing it or not. So I haven't seen it, at least not on the same channels, but that used to be on Mondays. Then you've got Matt does his nerd chat. Oh shit. I don't know when that starts. We'll be chatting about Star Wars movie tonight. Daily Gun Show later on. I feel like I'm missing something. Is there something else on Mondays?
Travis P11. Caliber Corner's on.
Caliber Corner. Yep. And then HBS.
Yeah.
If he does his show today. Today is the first day of Hanukkah?
Ooh. Maybe.
Spell it. There we go. Sunday, December 22nd. So I guess it started yesterday, the evening of yesterday. And it ends the Monday of the 30th. So I don't know the whole deal, but I noticed some stuff going around. So happy holidays to everybody out there. And we're watching. Oh, Caliber Corner's on right now. I'm corking them, so I'm getting the hell out of here. Thanks for jumping in.
Right on.
Somebody got a link. I'll link Travis's show in the comments if you want to watch something else that's better than this. Daily Gun Show is just on another channel called Daily Gun Show. If you go to Gun Channels, there's links to everything. Gunchannels.com is a community built for conversations like this one. Otherwise, it's on our YouTube channel actually has something called a channels tab where we link to all the channels that we like, that we listen to, that are friends of ours. And our own channels are in there too. So Daily Gun Show will be in there. Travis will be in there. Roll Calls will be in there. And if you click on our favorites, we post our favorites too. So you'll see that channels we click on are cool channels, and you can find their channels that way. Anyway, thanks everybody for showing up. We'll be back to pick it up later.